I'm running for Congress to get things done, not to go on CNN to bash President Trump.
In South Carolina, Republican Katie Arrington rode her praise of President Trump to a swift primary victory over incumbent Congressman Mark Sanford, a Trump critic. The final push coming 3 hours before the vote. Coming 3 hours before the vote. Mark Sanford has been very unhelpful to me. Vote Katie.
It may have cost me an election in this case, but I stand by every one of those decisions.
Just over 40% of Americans approve of the president's performance. Among Republicans, that number is more than twice as high.
Donald Trump's popularity with Republicans is unprecedented.
We're in a strange place. I mean, it's almost, it's becoming a cultish thing, isn't it?
Tennessee Senator Bob Corker complains that now his party won't even back measures it supports unless Trump does too.
We might poke the bear. The president might get upset with us as United States senators.
We are the party of President Donald J. Trump.
We just start to say it has devolved into a cult.
Primary
voters in the Republican Party have devolved into a Trumpist cult.
Right.
He says you need to run a perfect election to beat Hillary Clinton. Nobody right now thinks Trump's running a perfect election.
Rights Priebus, the rest of the Republican Party needs to start worrying about the Senate and the House and the governors and the legislators in the Republican Party have devolved into a Trumpist cult.
Right. Well, it's clear that conservatism, liberalism, voting records, none of those things matter. His situation right now, in terms of national polling and the way the battleground state polling is collapsing underneath him in a variety of states, is such that it can't be lost on him, I don't think, that he's almost certain now to lose this election. It's a cult of personality, and the president has an extraordinary hold over his base. And cult of personality is one good description for it.
A cuck-servative suggests that Republicans who condemn racism like to watch their white wives cheat on them with black men. A cuck-servative.
He says we got nothing left to lose. So we might as well support somebody who has fought against civil rights and fought against equality and who has shown no regard for working people for most of his life.
What he represented to a nation of kids with hope.
In this campaign ad released today, superstar rapper Jay-Z encourages black voters to get out the door and into the polling booth for Barack Obama.
It's almost, it's becoming a cultish thing, isn't it?
In the Republican Party have devolved into a Trumpist cult.
Hold it now.
To speak against the king, Donald Trump, then he will screw with you and he will tweet something against you.
Why don't we just start to say it has devolved into a cult? Primary voters in the Republican Party have devolved into a Trumpist cult.
It's becoming a cultish thing, isn't it?
Think about what it means to be a president, what it means to be a Republican in a primary. You can be a birther. You can be associated with alt-right bigots and survive and win the primary. But if you criticize Donald Trump, that's political suicide.
The ecstatic crowd in that city screaming and cheering when the president took the stage with the First Lady.
A cuck-servative.
It didn't happen, and they're going to have to face a future where there's no leader of the party and an electorate that is much to their disadvantage.
He always said he was a fourth quarter closer, that he was LeBron at the very end, but I want to bring in Nicole right now for your thoughts.
Well, look, I'm going to hold this paper up, and just remember, here we are, June the 13th, 2018. What Republicans did last night and what they are doing in subservience to Donald Trump is going to lead to a massive Democratic wave this fall. And if you don't believe me, you don't believe the short-sightedness, and I will say the political stupidity and the radicalism and the turning away from rock-solid conservative values that have moved this party forward, starting in 1980. If you don't believe me, let's just see what happened in Virginia last night.
Okay, you want to do that?
Because in Virginia last night,
a conservative.
Well, Democrats, if you heard "Happy Days Are Here Again" blaring out of Democratic headquarters, there's a reason, because last night Democrats got them another seat in the United States Senate because of what I don't even call them Republicans anymore. What Trumpists did in the state of Virginia.
This particularly is if the unlikely event happens and Trump wins, you will see a market crash of historic proportions, I think.
A conservative.